Welcome to today's video. Today's video, I could call it a Q&A, I could call it a frequently asked question. I'm going to call it the answer to one of my biggest frustrations. There is not much more I hate in this world than wasted time. I can't stand it. One of the areas of life where I see people wasting the most amount of time is working out. People are working out way too much, way too hard. You need to work out smarter, not harder. I'm going to talk about glutes in this video. The butt, the area that the most people have the most problems building. And you know what's interesting? A lot of people, yeah, I could go for an hour here doing all kinds of exercises at home that you could do to build a butt without any equipment. I will get into that. However, can we first make sure if your glutes are firing properly? That's one thing I notice is missing in a lot of glute. I've even gone to glute workshops and watched an entire workshop on building a butt, and they miss the whole beginning aspect of it of, are your glutes firing? Glute inhibition, inactive glute firing, glute amnesia, whatever name you want to call it. 88% of us don't have proper muscle recruitment in our glutes. So you could be squatting all day long. You could be doing bridges till the cows come home. You could be on that stepper all frickin' day, and your glutes are not going to be building as big as they could be. So I'm going to help you there. All right? Again, dispelling a bunch of myths or what have you on this channel. So let's talk about glute amnesia. What are the main causes of glute amnesia? Sitting too much, number one cause. We sit all the time at home, and then we get in the car and we sit on the way to work, and then oftentimes at work, if you have a desk job or whatever job you might have, you might be sitting all day primarily at work, and then you come home and you're tired, of course, and so you're gonna sit. What happens when you sit too much is it tightens up the hip flexors, and if the hip flexors are too tight, the hamstrings get too tight, the glute muscles become way too lengthened, and then they're too flibbery flabbery, they're not gonna fire. So we're gonna get those glutes firing. Sitting too much, no bueno. Poor posture. Although I am sitting on a couch, my back is straight. I don't know if you can see that. Straight. So keep your back straight, keep your shoulders level, try to keep your posture good. If your posture is poor, it doesn't allow for proper muscle recruitment up and down the back of the body. You need that proper muscle recruitment to get these glutes firing properly. Too much cardio. Too much cardio, again, will tighten those hips, tightening the hamstrings, lengthening out the glutes. If you notice that your hamstrings are hurting way more than you think that they should be if you're doing deadlifts or other leg exercises in the gym, or you feel as though your recovery time from those is too long or extra long, longer than you think it should be, that's another clear indication that your glutes are not firing properly. Another thing, if you notice that you have low back pain, knee pain, hip pain, occasionally ankles, but we're gonna stick with the low back, hips, and knees here, that is another indication that your glutes aren't firing properly. A lot of times, if the glutes aren't firing right, the hips, the low back, and the knees will take on the brunt of the work that the glutes should be doing, and they'll hurt a lot more than they otherwise should be. So make sure that you're looking into if your glutes are firing properly. I'm going to show you a couple ways to tell if they are once I'm done ranting on about this. Speaking of ranting, I was at CanFitPro. That is the world's leading and largest fitness convention. So this fitness convention is full of fitness professionals and fitness enthusiasts. So everybody that goes to this convention, in order to leave the convention and to get into the convention, you gotta go up and down a set of stairs, a whole entire floor you gotta go up and down. So the way it's laid out are these two giant escalators and then two even bigger normal staircases on either side of these escalators. You can imagine the average person, I'm gonna say 98% of the people going to this convention are well-bodied, quite able, enthusiastic about fitness, or they are a fitness professional, okay? So I'm walking towards these escalators to leave. This is when I noticed it. These people, it's almost like you're in a herd of cattle because there's hundreds and thousands of people, right? So all of these people are following each other up the frickin' escalators. What? I can't explain it either. Maybe it's aliens. I don't even know. But then the staircases on either side, frickin' devoid of people. No. I thought about it. There's no answer. There's no answer. So I run up the stairs. Sure enough, it might be a mind thing, sort of like a herd complex. I don't know. Few people trickled onto the stairs. Please go up the stairs. One of the best glute exercises you can do is to go upstairs. Not kidding. Up hills, upstairs. Best, 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 best thing. Okay, another thing. People often do hip thrusts, bridges, squats. I never really see anybody working out the gluteus minimus and the gluteus medius. So there are three main glute muscles. There's the tiniest glute muscle right in there. This is the shelf, as it were. So right above the leg there, that's the gluteus minimus, the little guy. Nobody works that out. Obviously, you're gonna need the shelf to hold up the big guys, right? Then there's the gluteus medius. This is in the middle. I never see anyone working this out. What? And then there's the big gluteus maximus. Everybody works that out. People forget about the smaller muscles that really make them pop. Almost like your pecs. Breasts. Talking about pecs here. So you have a small pec underneath the bigger pec. If you work out that smaller pec, obviously the bigger pec's gonna pop, right? Same with your butt. So we're gonna work that out as well. I also want to make sure that you're not inflamed. Inflammation will change the muscle recruitment pattern going on in your lower body. So from here to here, the muscle recruitment pattern is going to change if you're inflamed down here. Again, leading causes of inflammation in every single person: wheat, barley, rye, corn, soy, dairy, and alcohol. Alcohol's first. Can you believe how many of us are eating all that? And then how many of us are going and squatting our brains out? So yes, do you see people building a butt? They do all of these things. They have all of the issues I explained. Yes, you can see them building a butt. But they could have built that butt in way, way less time. So anyhow, thank you for your patience during my rant. And let's get on to that video, and I'm going to show you how to figure out if your glutes are firing properly. And I'm also going to show you exercises that will work out each of the three muscles. If you work out the glutes several times a week, I'm going to say not every day, and make sure you're not still sore the next time you work out your butt, okay? So if you work out the glutes several times a week, you're going to see results within a month. Try me. Again. How do I know everything that I know? I'm going to link that video below. That is the second video on my channel. I will link that below so you can know where I got all of this information from. I am a personal training specialist, so this is not just Google certified. This is real info. So come with me. Let's go over there, and I'm going to show you how to work out all three of these muscles. Keep in mind, there's a huge laundry list of exercises that you can do for each of these three muscles. Just make sure you're working out all three of them, okay? Because let's win at this. Most amount of results, least amount of work. Let's go. So this is called the belt test. I am wearing a belt, for example. You don't have to wear a physical belt if you don't want. I just thought it would be easier for you guys to see. So imagine you're wearing a belt, or wear a belt if you like, and if the belt buckle had a laser coming out of it and it was pointing downward in any way, that means that you're not getting the proper glute recruitment pattern in your glutes. That is called an anterior pelvic tilt. So you'd want that laser beam to be pointing straight ahead. Here I'm going to show you what it looks like when you do have anterior pelvic tilt compared to normal. So there's the tilt, and this would be back to normal. This test is done simply by lying on the ground. You're going to be lying face up, very relaxed. Place your hands under each of your glutes, and then you're going to flex them one by one. And pay very close attention to if you can feel these glutes flexing. I would use the belt test over this one, as this one is not as accurate to tell if you do have glute amnesia, but it's a great one to use anyhow. All right, so on to the first exercise for the glute minimus, that smallest shelf glute muscle. You're going to lie on your side. Make sure you are popped up out of that shoulder like I'm showing you, nice and stable, and you're not sinking down in the shoulder. Keep your hips level. My feet are flexed. You can place your hand either in front of you or on your hip for stability, and you're just going to be lifting that top leg front and to the back over your bottom leg. It is very difficult to stay stable here, which is good. That is what you want. That is helping. You should feel that in that tiniest glute muscle. These are called rainbows. Okay, now here we are going to do the side lying hip abduction, which means we are going to be moving the leg away from the center point of the body. You're going to have a base similar to the previous exercise where you're up on that shoulder. You can have your hand in front of you here for stabilization, as well as that lower leg bent at a 45 for stabilization. And you're going to take your top leg and move it up and back away. You'll notice yourself how far back you need to move your leg based on where you feel that the most. So I'm pointing here to where I feel it the most, and that will take care of the gluteus medius. One thing I would like to point out here that I did forget to mention until now is that you'll notice the way my arm is that's stabilizing me. My elbow is not directly underneath my shoulder. If you are doing yoga or such, yes, I would definitely recommend your elbow be directly under your shoulder. However, for this particular kind of exercise, I do feel more stability myself when my elbow is a little bit further back, just as long as you are up and out, stabilized on that shoulder socket, and you're not letting that sink down and in. On we go to the gluteus maximus, the most popular glute max exercise I have ever seen known to man would definitely be the squat. There are three things I have noticed that nobody really pays attention to when it comes to squatting. The first is that you do not need your feet to be equally distanced apart. What you need to do is just squat down any which way at first, and however comfortable your feet are is where they need to stay for you. So what happens a lot is I do see personal trainers that will say to evenly space your feet apart and yada yada. However, if there are imbalances going on anywhere else in the body, squatting with the feet placed evenly apart is going to injure that person over time. So you really need to be squatting wherever your feet are most comfortable. This will be corrected over time with somebody properly training you, or even you properly monitoring yourself where it comes to unbalances anywhere else in the body. Secondly, those knees need to stay behind those toes. So a lot of times people do tend to underestimate how far back you can sit. It almost needs to be like you're reaching for a chair that is really far behind you. So what I do with my clients is I place them right up against a wall, facing the wall with their toes touching the wall. And because your toes are right up against that wall, when you squat down, you are going to be forced to sit really far back because your knees are obviously not going to be able to go through that wall. And the third most important thing I want to talk about when it comes to squatting is the butt wink. When you squat down, oftentimes with very many people, you reach a point in depth where your pelvis goes from an anterior tilt to a posterior tilt. So this means that your tailbone is going to curl under you. This is not a strength issue. A strength issue would be when your knees cave in at the bottom due to weak quads. This, however, this wink is due to either a mobility or a flexibility issue. So usually the case here is a flexibility issue in the hamstrings. Remember earlier I mentioned that oftentimes the hips are too tight, which makes the hamstrings too tight. So when the hamstrings are too tight, the body can't properly continue the squat motion. So what you want to do is pay attention to when your body is getting this butt wink action going on, and then you want to be stopping your squat at that point. So I'm going to show you what's going on. All right, I'll show you where I get this butt wink. My hips are very tight right now. Okay, so watch, I'm going to do some incorrect ones for you to show you this butt wink so you can see exactly what it looks like. Here we go. Butt wink. One more time, maybe a couple more times. Butt wink. And then a proper version. There we go. So that is where I need to be stopping my squats. I am going to link below in the description box my video on guaranteed flexibility improvement for you so that you can be guaranteed to improve your flexibility and get that ass to grass, so they say. Welcome back. So that was me working out the 3 glute muscles. Once again, just to recap, if you have glute amnesia, how are you going to know? You can do the pelvic tilt test that I showed you with the belt. You can do the lying on the ground test. Just remember to keep in mind, if you are ingesting wheat, barley, rye, alcohol, corn, soy, or dairy, you likely do have an inhibition in the firing of the glute muscles. If you have poor posture issues, if you sit a lot, if you notice any extra low back, hip, or knee pain, sometimes ankle, and what was the other one? Oh yeah, if you do a heck ton of cardio, and if your hamstrings are very tight, remember, a lot of times people come to me saying their hamstrings are really tight and I'm stretching out my hamstrings all the time and I don't notice any improvement. That is a sign that your hips are too tight. If you have tight hips, your glutes are not firing properly. So please work on that posture. Cut down on the excessive steady state cardio. You don't need it. You only need 20 minutes 3 times a week, okay? High intensity interval training is best for cardio. Try not to sit too much. Go up and down some stairs, for heaven's sake. If you have any questions, please comment below. I'd be more than happy to answer them for you. Again, I will link below how I know any of this stuff. If you thought this video was helpful or informative in any way, please give it a thumbs up for me. That really does help support me. Please subscribe to this channel. Please share it with anyone you think might benefit. And if you want notifications of when future videos are posted, please hit that little bell icon and you will get a notification each time I release a new video. Thanks again so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I can't wait to see you in the next video. And until then, have fun. See you then.